Roger Burnett is the founder and driving force behind the purpose-driven and purpose-led business approach employed at Social Good Promotions, where he leads the company's sales and marketing efforts, brand strategy, and development. He donates his time to nonprofits through strategic plan facilitation and development. Roger was recognized as the Promotional Products Association Volunteer of the Year in 2018 and recently received the industry's Distinguished Service Award in 2023. As a published author, Roger is frequently invited to speak in front of organizations inside and outside the branded merchandise space, and his So You're in Sales podcast, which is one of my favorites of all time, has enjoyed more than 30,000 listens in the program history. So those are the details of Roger Burnett, but who's Roger Burnett as a person? Roger Burnett as a person is somebody that you can fight a war with and jump into the trenches with. He's a great wingman. He finds a way to always find the time to help people achieve their goals. He's been a friend of mine since we very first met about 5 years ago now. Roger was at the first ReferralTopia. He helped me organize the first ReferralTopia online, and also had Stan Phelps, one of our speakers, be featured at a ReferralTopia. It's only fitting that Roger gets to wrap up this year's ReferralTopia as our featured presenter. Let's put our hands together and welcome Roger Burnett, Social Good Promotions.
This is such a welcome, comfortable space for me. For those of you who don't know me, our company dates back to 2019. I started the company in January of 2019. I announced to the world that we existed as a business entity in April of 19, and I joined Doug Moffitt's Caerusnet groups in Brighton and Ann Arbor in June of 2019. So I legitimately can count the genesis of my company and tie it to what happened as being a Caerusnet member. So I'm very grateful after all of these years to have finally got my spot on the stage. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share a little bit about what we've been doing over here at Social Good Promotions in the years that we've been in business. And I dropped a little hint there of those Caerusnet ReferralTopia classes. For those of you who might be attending the afterglow tonight, that might be something that you get to walk yourself home with. So just keep an eye on those. So before we get started on me, how about our other two presenters today? How about them? My buddy Doug Moffitt and my good friend Denise Roberts. Both of them are amazing people, first and foremost, but maybe even more importantly, when we talk about getting from know to like to trust, there's probably, along with a few other facilitators, there's really not many other people in the Caerusnet network more dedicated to the outcome of creating a trust-based relationship than these two people who are presenting along with me today. And so I just wanted to take a moment for us to recognize and appreciate the efforts, not just today, but for day in and day out, week in and week out, that Doug and Denise both put their heart and soul into Caerusnet. And I too I'm so Caerusnet that I brought a number of you onto the So You're in Sales podcast so that you could have an opportunity to tell your stories about what it is that you do for a living and what makes your business unique and different from the competition. And as you can see from some of people have joined us more than one time to participate in the So You're in Sales podcast. And I'm going to give a book away to the person that gives me in the comments which of these fine people has the most listens of a podcast episode on the So You're in Sales podcast. So drop your hint. And if you want to, tiebreaker would be the number of listens to that episode. No cheating. No cheating. All right. Because if everybody gets it right, then nobody gets a book. But no cheating. I don't want to see anybody looking on their computer screen. Comments in the notes. We will check this out later and somebody will win a book. But I'm so Caerusnet. I spent all of my time learning about the stories of the other members of this organization so as to be able to, as I think any of us should be able to do over time to reliably be able to make a referral to any of these people, but also to do so in a way that not just explains to them what it is that that person does, but why I think that person would be a good referral for the person I'm referring them to. And that is the highest level of trust, because if you know the refrain that Mr. Berg has coined and many people have said, you can sing it along with me from the chorus if you would like. All things being equal, people will do business with people they know, like, and trust. And yet, if I were to break you up and put you in breakout rooms and ask you to come back with a definition of what know, like, and trust is, many of you would come back with a different answer as to what each of those words are, because to each of us, to know someone, to like someone, and to trust someone has very individual meaning. So while many of us come to our work every day and recognize and appreciate the fact that people do buy from people that they know, like, and trust, why don't you get more of these postcards? Because you're going to networking events, you're getting out there in the marketplace, you're building relationships with people, and yet most of us are not getting some kind of outward notification, be it a postcard or an email or even just a direct interaction with someone that suggests that we've reached a place where we have the level of trust that would be necessary in order to really accomplish something amazing. So even though we all universally agree that people buy from people they know, like, and trust, many of us, most of us, heck, maybe all of us, don't really have something that gives us an opportunity to be able to navigate that journey from know to like to trust. So if we think about that and we try to break it down, most people would assume that there's some sort of linear relationship between the moment that someone knows you and the eventuality of you being trusted. And so for those of us who come to events like this, especially ones that are in person, many of us are fearful of attending for the unknown part of what's going to happen. Maybe I'm going to meet somebody today, but how do I get them to like me? And gosh, how would I even arrive at a moment where I feel like somebody might trust me? So many people will stop before they even get started on this journey. But even more importantly, the thing that we need to think about is this notion of, like, if I just put myself out there, that the opportunity for me to be liked and ultimately to be trusted is a guarantee. I mean, it's literally counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense. And for many of us who want to really think about this, what I would tell you is the relationship that we have between know, like, and trust is much more like climbing a pyramid. And it's not a individual pyramid, it's actually a set of pyramids that look very similar to this, that have differing degrees of difficulty, that have different footing and different skills that are necessary in order to navigate. But knowing that it's not a linear relationship like this one, and recognizing and appreciating that this is the journey that I'm going to have to take, is the first step in understanding that there's an opportunity for you to operationalize and systematize the activities that are necessary in order for you to make these climbs. But the most important thing you have to recognize is that it is a climb, and that there are going to be obstacles in place, and that you are going to lose your footing, and that you are going to be in positions where the next part of the journey forward and up may require you to move to one side or the other, or in some instances, to take steps backwards in order to be able to continue that journey towards trust, because it's vitally important. Because if we said, all things being equal, people will do business with the people that they know, like, and trust, then why are we not creating a set of activities that we can do and perform on a day in and day out basis that gives us the opportunity to know, one, where we are with the people that we're trying to build those relationships with, but two, most importantly, what are the activities that I can do in order to be able to continue to identify where I am in this index with the people that I'm dealing with at this moment, so that I can organize my behaviors and my activities around the things that I need to do today in order to grow the amount of trust that I have with the people that I'm dealing with. And if you think about it, as you're attracting new clients, as you're bringing people into the top of your funnel, is it not safe to assume that your relationship with them is weak? If it's negative, it's very unlikely that they've come to you with a negative relationship in mind, unless they're just trolling you or doing something that is intentionally meant to be malicious. I would say, especially here in the Midwest, we Midwesterners kind of come to our new relationships with this degree of enthusiasm. We're excited for the possibility, but yet we don't know how to then create the opportunity to move that relationship beyond this weakness into something that could be potentially more beneficial to all of us. So in the process of writing Red Goldfish Promo Edition, the research that we did revealed this sort of subtext of need when it comes to business sales is, how do you create an environment to foster trust? Okay. And if you are approaching your work that way, you can actually create specific activities that you can use to help identify where you are and move. So for me, here's some of the things that we teach when we're workshopping with clients, how to move themselves up this continuum so that they can do a better job of building relationships in their business. So when you're in a weak trust relationship, and Doug, poor Doug, has heard me say this a million times, the three things you need to stay focused on are EIEI, so that you can get that O out of that person. And EIEI stands for educate, inform, entertain, and inspire. And most of this is content driven. So if you can create an opportunity for you to build a content platform that gives you the opportunity to do any one of those four things, when you're meeting someone for the first time, your objective is to figure out which one of those pieces of content that you've created is going to be the one that's most attractive to that person, so that you can share it with them as a follow-up to this interaction in a way that gives you a reason to follow up. And in reality, what you're doing is following the formula that I showed you below, which is V2R1 BVBR. So what I'm really saying is, in this process of entertaining and informing and educating and inspiring people, you should make 2 attempts to provide value before you make a request of any sort. And in reality, you should repeat that process twice. You should provide 4 pieces of value. You should provide 2 requests, but the whole time what you should be doing is moving that person towards a big value that you want to provide them and a big request that you want to make of them. And that big request should require you to get them out from behind their desk and away from their office. Because what you want to do is you want to give them the opportunity to see you in a setting that's outside of the neural pathways that they have that suggest that they're the buyer and you're the seller. What you're really doing is you're giving yourself an opportunity to connect with that person outside of that relationship in a way that will then strengthen the trust that you may be able to engender in them. And then secondarily, when you move to a neutral relationship, what you're really looking for are clues, things like a phone call or an email from someone that says, you know, I have a problem and I'm looking for your suggestion here. What that suggests is that that person has moved beyond seeing you in a weak light and is starting to rely on you for expertise and help for things that they perceive to be their problems, or if they actually go out of their way to make a warm referral by way of email or phone where they say, hey, I want to connect you with Wendy because I know that based on my relationship with Wendy and what I've known of you, I think the two of you are going to really get along very well. That's an example of a growing neutral relationship. And in the strong relationship category, which what I'm hoping most of you are in, with your Caerusnet team members. And if you're not, what are you doing? You should be in this position, because ultimately what Denise is trying to tell you in her pod system is, when you get to that place of very strong trust to where you're getting close to Ohana, what you're really realizing is that there's opportunities for you to work together on things. And when you work together on things within your relationships, it's a 1 + 1 = 3 kind of scenario, where the two of you together are actually solving problems that are bigger than the two of you could solve on your own. And think about the community impact that you can make together when you, as a 1 + 1 + 3 = 3 relationship, is out doing just fierce things in the community. And I've seen this happen in fits and starts in the Caerusnet community, but I really believe there's nowhere better than in this community of people to build these kinds of connections, because trust builders are meant to be the vehicle in and of itself of the way for you to be able to accomplish this task. And if you're not doing it, what are you doing here? Why are you here in Caerusnet? This is the ultimate objective. And if you've been around for a while, if you've been in Caerusnet for more than 6 months, definitely more than a year, you should be in a moment where with some of, if not many of your referral team relationships should be to a trust point where you can say, hey, people, what could we work on together? What might we be able to solve as a team if we put our resources and our knowledge together? And the thing that I will tell you is during the pandemic, I witnessed the Caerusnet community come together like this in a way that I will never forget. I don't think Doug will forget it. I don't think Wendy will forget it. I know Steve won't forget it, because it was so gratifying to see people that invested in making sure that nobody failed, that we collectively as a group were able to stick this thing out in ways that I'm not sure that all of us individually would have been able to. And so I'm incredibly grateful to the Caerusnet community. And if there are any of you who are interested in learning more about this trust index, I'm available. You can talk to me about it. And I would love to help each of you learn how to apply this in your own businesses. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you a couple things as a thank you. So I'm going to provide a couple pieces of value, just like I said, in the V2 R1 equation. So if you scan this QR code today, you'll be taken to Amazon, where you can have a free Kindle version of Red Goldfish Promo Edition. Please, I would love to see that happen. I would ask, if you do happen to do that and read it, please give us a review on Amazon. We are 3 short of 50, and 50 reviews puts me in the scroll at the bottom of suggested books to buy. So we're very, very close. I also will have signed copies available of the book tonight at the Afterglow for purchase, if any of you are interested in getting my scribble on the inside cover. We're also big about community here at Social Good Promotions. So I am hosting the Do More Trash Bash on Thursday, April 13th at 1 p.m. There's a QR code here that would take you to the registration link if you're at all interested in getting more information about participating in the cleanup. This is part of Earth Month. Social Good Promotions is all about making the world a better place. And this is yet one more of our efforts to be able to do that. And then last but not least, come get your glasses tonight at the Afterglow, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have a little contest. Steve doesn't even know about this, but we're going to have a little contest with these glasses that's going to turn into a little bit of an Instagram viral sensation. So get there tonight. Make sure you're ready to get your glass. There's going to be a little bit of a contest, and we are going to light social media on fire with our ReferralTopia glasses. Hopefully I left enough room for time for questions. Steve, I know we got off to a little bit of a late start, but I think we did just okay.
Well, Roger, you knocked it out of the park, and it's wonderful seeing this know, like, trust journey, because that's what it should be. It should be a journey. This is not an instant thing. It's something that you just need to be incredibly mindful of. We do have an opportunity for comments or questions for Roger Burnett. So feel free to just unmic and let it rip if you're somebody that would like to comment.
I'll comment right away. Roger, that was phenomenal. Basically taught everybody that any relationship can turn into a positive relationship. It's just a matter of providing them the content, the information, entertainment, and obviously all of that is a combination. So awesome job.
Thanks, Vash.
And I'll make a quick comment. I thought the analogy, the picture of the 3 pyramids was perfect, because it's not linear, and it is, you climb one, and then, because most of us get to know, many of us get to like, very few of us get to trust, and we stop at know and like. So it was a great visual. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Denise. And it's interesting, we hear things a little bit hints that there's a dissonance that happens where you're in one spot on the trust continuum and your client's in a different spot.
Yes.
And the thing that I hear, and you guys, and men and women both, you've heard this. I don't know why he keeps asking me for the sale. I've already made that person, like, they should know that, yes, you've got the order. Why are we still messing around? And it's because there's a gap. I don't recognize that this person's already made that conclusion because I'm not tuned to looking for the acknowledgement on the client's part that they're ready to move, right? And that's a big symptom of when you've got that disconnect going on.
Yeah, I will agree. I think trust has to happen at different levels. Number one is they need to trust you as a person, that you are the word, right? We talked about, Doug talked about being impeccable about your word. But do they trust you as a professional who can solve their problem? That's a different trust. I may trust somebody as a person, but I may not trust them to solve my problem. And I think that's the continuum you're talking about.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
It looks like we have a winner of the book, Steve. So Dr. Michael Berry was correct in choosing Wendy Caverly, who has an episode, her first episode has 250 listens.
Awesome.
Steve's second interview, 3 off, 247. So between the two of you, and I would tell you what's interesting is that the population of Caerusnet members who have had their interviews done on the So You're in Sales podcast have been listened to in excess of 1,000 times.
Wow.
And for those of you who have those interviews, I will just remind you, they are great pieces of marketing content when you're trying to develop trust with your clients and prospects. So if you've lost the link to your interview, please, by all means, reach back out to me so that you can continue to use those to your benefit, because the episode listens that each of these people have continues to grow to this day. People are still listening to this show. So podcast as a piece of content for you to help grow your expertise and your knowledge. It's an amazingly good way. So find podcast episodes to go be. And I think there's this guy named Steve Ziskowski who puts on a Caerusnet podcast that you might have an opportunity to do that.
All right, let's put our hands together for Roger Burnett, Social Good Promotions, for a fantastic presentation today on the know, like, and trust journey. Roger, do me a favor and check a little bit later about that QR code for the book. Some folks were saying that it wasn't leading where it should go. So maybe you can email me the link. And I will send that in a recap email so everybody gets that. Red Goldfish is a powerful read, fantastic information. While we put our hands together for Roger Burnett, let's do it one more time for Denise Roberts and Doug Moffitt, who also brought choice information. And keep your hands together for yourself, for being somebody who chose today to develop professionally, to meet new people, to put yourself out there. You did a fantastic job today. It's not too late still if you'd like to be a part of the ReferralTopia Afterglow at Giannopolis today between 4 and 7. It's going to be a fantastic time. And one message that I might have is that it comes to the trust journey. A lot of people go, I would like to meet with people. I would like to do things, but I don't find the time. I don't find the time. Some of the most successful people have made it so they eat lunch with somebody else at least twice a week. You got to eat lunch anyway, right? So how about making it so you're meeting up with people for that 1 hour lunch where you can continue to connect? That's just a super great way to do it. Thank you for attending ReferralTopia today. Please take the survey on the landing page and rate us really, really high on everything except for maybe the technical stuff. But when it comes from the heart, give us 5 stars, please. Give us 5 stars from the heart. It was great seeing all of you today. We're going to be doing this again on October 12th this year. Spread the word. Let those other people know out there that ReferralTopia is a great investment in time. This is a value add for Caerusnet members and a great way for us to spread the love and share it with those that are networking curious out there. All right, we'll see you guys at the Afterglow tonight, and thank you for making ReferralTopia a great day today.
Thanks,
everybody.
Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you,
Bye.
Steve.
Have a great evening.
Thanks,
Good job,
everyone.
Steve.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Great job.
everyone.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Awesome.